All right, so I think we should begin. There's a small little group, but I think that that's what makes this maybe sometimes more interesting because we all get to learn from each other. Um, I brought in Verena this morning as a guest speaker just because she's out on the field and seeing the movement of this hot sellers market, which I am not seeing since I am in the office with you guys, supporting and training at all times, right? So I wanted to bring you on, and I have a few questions for you that I've been seeing a lot when it comes to the trends of this market. And I know that you've been working both sides as a listing agent and as a buyer's agent, correct?
Yes. Most of the time I work the buyer's end, so that's why like we're talking about it.
Now, when it comes to the buyers, right? How are you preparing your clients even before showings? Because um, when this year began, I wanted to say like in January, in my brain, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna purchase a home closer to, where I am working. And then when I started seeing the madness, right, I said, you know what, forget it, I can wait, I'm good where I'm at. I can just give it another year. And I kind of like stopped myself from going into the crazy. But I'm seeing that buyers are just out there madness, even if they know. So how is it that you are preparing your clients even before showing, before you even begin the movement of sending them properties?
Okay, so first of all, I want them to be really pre-qualified. Like when I say really pre-qualified, I want the loan officer to have all the documentation. I want the loan officer to do the verification of employment, not only the pay stub. I want to make sure that they track all the assets and that we have all the documentation beforehand. And I also like to psychologically prepare them to
Yes.
what is going to happen. I want to let them know that most likely they're going to need to put money above appraisal. Not necessarily that will be the case in the situation that the property does appraise, but if it doesn't, I want to make sure that they know that they will need to put money above.
You touched a very interesting point, right? Because I have in my notes for today is cash king, because I am seeing that even if there is a cash offer on the table, if the one with financing, right, takes off the financial contingencies and is willing to pay above financial contingency up to X amount of money, the clients are willing to go more for the financial than the cash. And that is a movement that I had not seen in a very long time.
Yes, I personally don't take away the financial contingency. I feel like it's really risky. And sometimes, I don't know if it's the realtor that doesn't explain what it means to the client. But personally, it's me speaking, like if it's finance, you will never know what will happen to the deal until probably like 3 days before closing. So I never take away the financial contingency. I try to keep it. What I do take away is the appraisal contingency, because if I have a financial, most likely I will be able to get out of it if anything
Yeah.
happens. But what I have seen is that even if you send a cash offer, and you have a really solid buyer putting 20% down, um, and offering above asking, offering above appraisal, against a cash offer for sales price or what they were asking, most likely the finance one would take the house.
Yeah. I am seeing this a lot. Now, I see that Mabeli is on here, and I do want to pick on her because she recently was the listing agent of a property where they were asking 325. It appraised for 300,000. It was an FHA client, and good morning. It was an FHA client. They did the appraisal. It came back at 300,000. Um, And the seller was like, if I'm not getting 325, I am
That's
not selling. The FHA client went all the way up to 312, 500, if I'm not.
500, 500.
And the seller still said, you know what? I don't want it. I'd rather not sell if it's not 325. So, and I told Mabeli, like, prepare your seller. This can happen again and again and again. Every time you get a financial contingency, you have to let them know how many more times will this listing be in and out of the market and hit that appraisal contingency, and then the appraisal contingency does, it doesn't appraise, and then it goes right back on the market. And like I was on top of her. I said, prepare your seller. They're not ready to sell. I was like on her case. And a week later, she puts, the property goes right back on the market. That deal fell through. And now she has a full asking, no appraisal contingency offer on the table.
Right, that's true. I'm planning to go today to see the owner. And remember, Andreina, that I explained everything to you yesterday. They put half cash and half a private lender. A private lender, she explained to me, Andreina, that it's like cash. I already explained to the another realtor that if the price is coming for 300, he needs to put the 25,000, and they're gonna do it. I cross my finger because I'm praying that the appraisal is coming for the same price for 300. So they're ready to move. I'm planning to go today, but I put on the market on Monday. Tuesday, I already have 10 people looking for the house. When I explain everything, they say, oh my God, you're never gonna sell the house, because probably you're gonna stay here probably more than 8 months because nobody want to pay more than 20,000. This person, they wanted to buy it like that. Okay, that's fine. But the owner, he's like, if I don't sell it for 325, I'm not gonna sell my house. And not a day ever, the market is like that, and I don't know why. Probably because we don't have a lot of houses.
Now, Pierina, what is the largest amount that you've seen above appraisal?
The appraisal that was 315 for the house that I'm selling right now.
No, I'm asking Pierina, how much more, what has been the largest sum you've seen above appraisal?
Not personally for a client of mine, but for my husband client, they did 35K.
35K. See, I had seen up to 25K up until last week. Last week, one of our agents, she's selling a property in Key Biscayne, which it's $1.1 million. A comparison to appraisal, everything came back at 1.1. They had done a pre-appraisal before listing it. So, I mean, they were priced extremely well. They had an offer for 1.3, no appraisal contingency, and it is closing in 3 weeks, all cash for 1.3. They're paying $200,000 above what it would have appraised at, but they're buying cash.
Wow.
It became a bidding war of between 3 buyers who really wanted this property on the Key, and the one who won is paying $200,000 more than what it would have appraised. And that, to me, it blows my mind to where this market's going to go. And I'm seeing a lot that the sellers are not being extremely reasonable, and most agents are pushing the sellers to not be reasonable. I spoke to a realtor the other day, has a listing, had 10 offers, and then he called me and he said, well, we need to, not only are we reading through the offers, we want more above appraisal. We need a post occupancy for the seller because they need at least another month or 2 before they can move out, because they need to now find a property. And if they don't find a property, then they need a 6-month rental staying there at that property. I mean, all the contingencies, like all the things that the seller wanted was so one-sided that we forget about the sellers, because there's so many of them that I feel like if we in our industry are not preparing that seller as well and controlling them, I mean, the unreasonable things that we're going to be seeing on their site is going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. Um, you know, talk to me about more of your experience, Pierina. What are you seeing? What are you moving? What are you experiencing out there?
Like, to be honest, last year I was able not to give any money above appraisal.
100%.
Like,
100%.
I didn't do that. This year, it only happened once. So I have been really lucky, but
Yes.
I'm seeing that the lower the purchase price is, the more they require above appraisal.
The more they want.
Yes, the more they want, the more I'm competing with cash offers, the more like people are going crazy and offering 30,000 above asking, etc.
Who are your clients? Where are they from?
Um, to be honest, like what do you mean? Like, they're all from Miami.
They're all
Like,
from Miami. So
yeah.
your competition is just basically local.
Yes. Like, all my clients are from Miami, like they have been living here in Miami. I'm not getting any New Yorkers except like for rentals. Like, I had like a listing, like three listings, two in Coral Gables and one in Palmetto Bay, and the three of them were rentals. And I saw like in that market, I was getting a lot of people from Atlanta, New York, Los Angeles, etc. And they will also, that's another thing, they were also offering above asking price for rentals. Instead of 3 months, 5 months in advance, 6 months in
6
advance,
months in advance. I'm seeing a lot of the 6 months in advance.
and $200 over asking price. They're really well pre-qualified. Credit is excellent. They do not have anything on their background. They have savings, etc.
I am seeing a lot. I was very scared of our condo market for a little while. I thought, oh my God, our single family homes are kind of, there's no inventory, everybody's fighting for them. And I saw that our condo market was just, it had stopped, right? I have been having conversations even with pre-construction. They had no idea what the luxury pre-construction market was going to be doing. In November, they all became very scared, right? They didn't think that there was room for them right now in our industry because condos are not moving, their luxury pre-construction were not moving, and the people who wanted a purchase wanted it now. They didn't want 2 years, for the construction to be over. But now I am seeing, I have a friend, she had her apartment at the Bond in Brickell up for sale. Her listing had been on there for about a year. And out of nowhere, the past 2 weeks, she has received 5 offers. One of them is, all cash, full asking. And it happens out of nowhere, very stale, no showings, no one calling about it. And all of a sudden, for 2-3 weeks, it's just all of a sudden everybody started calling, everybody was inquiring, everybody was showing it, and now she has offers that she has to weed through, which leads me to believe our condo market is starting to move as well, right? And then as you guys have been seeing in our industry, new buildings they've been announcing. They just announced Bentley, they announced the Waldorf Astoria. Back in November, Armani had 35, 38 units to sell. They only have 1 or 2 units left today. From November, we're in March. I mean, we're in April now, but in very little time, our condo, our luxury, our pre-construction is also moving. I go into the MLS. You guys have an icon on the MLS, which I'm not sure if you guys click on it because you guys are all afraid of buttons. I don't know why. But you guys have a great app that's called StunStats. Are you guys familiar with it at all? All right, so that gives you the statistics of sales in comparison to other years, inventory. It's just an amazing tool for you guys to create content to show your clients. And if you guys see 2019, we had a 5-6 year inventory that we needed to absorb. right now, today, it's less than 3 years of inventory. And we've absorbed it all within a year, which is unheard of, right? Now we have the big tech companies. I am seeing more so than ever, we're competing against our locals, which before we were competing against like the South Americans, the Europeans. We are competing against our local Miami market. That's why I asked Fiorina, where are your clients from? And she said Miami, like there, she's competing against our locals. And we're also competing against New York, New Jersey, the Northeast. And then on top of that, now California is coming in and Texas is coming in. The big tech companies from Texas are also rolling in into our city. So at what point, and I don't see this stopping, like I don't see our market becoming less of, I don't see any stability happening anytime soon. I do believe 2021 is going to be an amazing year for real estate. If you have listings, you are in full control of our market. You are creating our trends if you have listings. But now, at what point do we think that this will actually stabilize? Because I don't see it happening in 2021. Does anybody want to chime into that question? When do we see stabilization start to happen here in our city? At least for our locals. Hi.
Hey, it's me, Ricardo. Hi.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm driving. I'm sorry, but I have to go to an appointment, but I didn't want to miss this class.
You're good. You're good.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, answering your question, I'm kind of scared, for tell you the truth, because yeah, we're in the seller's market, obviously very, very low inventory. And besides that, everybody wants to come to Miami for obvious reasons, the weather, everyone.
Yes, everyone is on a Miami trend.
Everyone from, yeah.
And I will say this before you answer the question I just asked. I will say this. When I was in Key Biscayne, we would see all the snow bunnies come in. They would, just come in for their rental. They would stay here a few months and then leave right back out. When I speak to my friends now in Key Biscayne, they're saying that's not happening. The snow bunnies are coming in for their yearly season, and now they're asking and speaking to realtors about how to purchase to stay. And we're no longer seeing the movement of, close to the beach or close to, the fun tourist things. Now there's conversations about where are the schools, where's the local super, like these outside, they want to live here. So Ricky, go ahead. I completely took over again.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, what I'm really worried about it is like when the forbearance for the mortgages lift up, like there is a millions of people that they hasn't paid their mortgage. So we're gonna have a bunch of inventory back in the market. I don't see it happening in 2021. I see it happening at the beginning of 2022. And
I don't see it in 22 yet, actually. I think it's gonna be a little bit longer than that.
The third quarter of 2022, actually. Like after July, August in 2022, we're gonna start seeing more. That's what I think. So that answer your question of when this is gonna stop. I think that's gonna be, the sellers are gonna have maybe a year and a half or so to keep selling until, with ridiculous prices. But after that, everything is gonna come down to the way that it's supposed to be, because right now the properties are like way too high. Like it's impossible to buy. If I was a buyer, I would definitely not buy, not today and not tomorrow and not in Miami. So because it's too high. So but if I was a seller, yeah, definitely it's time to sell right now.
No, this is the time to sell. Now, Fiorina, is this also what you're seeing, picturing, what your train of thought, where it takes you? And now your husband does mortgages, so.
So yes, I think it might be like for the end of 2022, but I don't know if I will feel scared about that or relief about that, because that will open more inventory and it might drop the prices, and maybe like my usual client that is not coming from New York with a lot of money in the pocket will be able to purchase again without being pushed to offer above asking, above appraisal. So I don't know if that will restart the market again and like make it come to a normality, maybe
And I don't think like even when we're starting to see more inventory, right? And you both mentioned, third quarter of 2022, maybe fourth quarter of 2022. I don't like when this occurs, right? I don't think that it will be back to normal. I think that that is when we're gonna go through a period of transition to try to stabilize it, right?
Yeah.
I still don't see, and maybe it's just me, right? I don't foresee like a 2008 drop, I don't foresee a crazy thing.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
was more, yeah, like there was more programs, interest rates have been very low. Those who were unable to pay for their properties were able to refi. There was a lot of movement on being able to help out that homeowner. Now, are we going to see short sales and foreclosures? Absolutely. It's part of the madness that we're living. Absolutely. But are we going to see it in the same manner or way that we saw it in 2008? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. No,
I think
no.
we're
I'm
just,
with Karina. We need to feel release because finally the prices are gonna stabilize. Yeah.
that's like, I think that we're going to go through a period of transition of to get us to stabilization, if that makes sense, right? Like we might start getting a little bit more inventory out. I'm hoping that sellers starts, with the train of thought and mentality of like, right now is the time to sell, and it just gives us more inventory and everything kind of calms down.
Right.
Because I mean, sellers are holding on to their house like if it was like the last piece of bread, of the year, like everybody, like no one wants to sell. But it is a great time for them to sell. So I think that the minute the sellers are like, okay, maybe it's my turn now, I still can get a piece of whatever this movement is, it opens up that door of inventory. It's crazy. It's crazy. How are you guys getting your offers accepted at this moment? What contingencies are you putting in? How are your inspection periods and stuff?
So I'm keeping my inspection. I'm not that aggressive with my contracts.
Okay.
I like to keep my client like safe. Uh, what I'm doing, I'm keeping my contingencies between inspection contingency between 5 to 7 days, and I'm even getting contracts accepted with a 30 or 45-day closing. So it's not like for the seller, it's not like how fast can you close. It's just they want
Yeah,
that.
I'm not seeing closings happening in like 10 to 14 days,
No,
right?
30 days.
And this is from the real estate side. I am not seeing that movement yet where it's like I need to sell my house yesterday. I'm not seeing that. Our title company right now is seeing that movement. Everybody wants to close yesterday. Everybody's trying to, but it's coming more, the push is coming more from the buyer than the seller.
Yeah.
So if the contract is saying 30 to 45 days, I have not seen anyone fight that. The ones fighting to close earlier, I do see it more from the buyers. Like they're more in a rush. They've been ready to purchase. They've been ready to get their offer accepted. So they want it now. But just like you said, sellers are not in a hurry. They're not fighting the 30 to 45 days. I also, do believe that when this first began, if you were putting 30 days on a contract, it was not closing in 30 days. Underwriting was extremely overwhelmed. I think that we also learned from that experience. So even the realtors are kind of like, you know what, let's close in 45 days instead, just to give it that wiggle room. But yeah, I'm not seeing the sellers really want to hold it down faster. I haven't seen the push from the seller. I do see it from the buyer. I was used to the 7 to 10 day inspection period. Now, if it's not 5 or 7, if you're putting a 10, everybody's saying no.
Yeah.
Inspection period is becoming less. I have seen as far as a 3-day inspection period. I mean, I'm very good friends with an inspector, and he calls me and he's like, what is going on? Everybody who's called me today has 3-day inspection period. Could they be lying to the inspector and saying 3 days when it's maybe 5? I think so, just to get the report in faster. But if you're not within 5 to 7 days, if you're longer, they are bringing that down. The biggest concern that I am seeing is one, the commitment, the loan commitment period. Most agents are not matching it with their closing date. Like they put 30 there, that they put the 45 closing date, and they're not extending it. And it does become a problem. I am seeing this a lot. That has been an ongoing thing in my, in the office, of the loan commitment period compared to their closing date. Are you seeing that as well, Karina?
I always send a 30-day loan commitment, but I
Okay.
want to make sure that by the, at least a couple of days, I already have the loan almost ready to close. If it's not almost ready to close, and if I see that there is going to be a problem or there might be an issue, because you never know, I will let my client know, because at the end of the day, I only advise and they take the decision. If they want to pull the trigger and get out of the contract, it's up to them. If they want to continue, they already know what they have at risk.
I love that you just said that. You only advise and they make the decision. I wish more realtors had that train of thought. I only advise and I let them make the decision. Most realtors do believe that they have to make the decision for their client, and that is what completely messes up the transaction. I have agents coming in here, extremely personal, emotional. Oh my God, the inspection came back with leaky faucet and, all these things. And I look at them and I'm like, and what did your client say? Is your client willing to lose this property over, a leaky faucet or the dishwasher that didn't, whatever it may be, right? And I tell them, you need to bring it back. You need to get your emotions out of the transaction entirely. You're not the one that's going to be using that sink or faucet. You're not the one that's going to have the problem with the dishwasher. What did your client think? What do they want to do? Do they want to pull out? Do they want to ask for credit? If they're not given the credit, are they willing to continue to move forward with the, with the transaction? But, I see realtors coming in with a frenzy. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, this popped in, this happened. What am I going to do? No, you present it. Like Karina just said, we advise and they make the decision. The more you advise or show what's going on or present, right? The more control you have over your file. Take your emotions away. You're not going to live in that property. You need full control of your transaction. The minute you learn how to control your own client in the transaction is when I believe that you learn how to also control the other listing agent on the transaction, right? Or the buyer's agent. Because if you just present and you wait for answers, you know exactly which way you're able to move in order to negotiate and get and get the best out of that transaction. But if you're coming in with all your emotions and now you are more emotional than your buyer or your seller, you've lost control. And you're now making decisions for other people, which that can get you in trouble. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to touch? Is there any experience or anything you've been through that, you might want to share before we conclude the day?
Question, Reina. My sister-in-law, she's living in Connecticut.
Okay.
And right now, the market is really good, like to sell her house, and she's planning to move to Orlando. I'm not going to be able to be in the transaction for Connecticut because I don't have the multiple license. Right?
What you can do is send a referral to an agent in Connecticut, like do your homework, Google different agents, interview them, and then give them the referral, and then they're able to give you a referral fee. You just cannot be a part of it. Like you cannot be an active agent in Connecticut because you don't have the license for over there.
Right, but she want to, at the same time, she want to, if I can start looking for houses in Orlando, because she want to close at the same time and get the other
No.
house for Orlando, to move to Orlando. I was say, I
Just
don't know, let me see what I can do, because she want to give me the transaction to me, for the transaction for Orlando, but I said, I think that I'm not available to be in Connecticut because I don't have multiple license.
in Connecticut, all you can do is just do the referral. So
Okay.
you can communicate with that realtor and you can ask for comps and, you know, kind of give it to your client, but you're not able to perform that transaction.
Right.
So give the referral, you can still make 25, 30% out of that transaction.
Okay.
Now for the one in Orlando, obviously you're licensed in Florida, you can participate as much as you can. Where might be a concern for you is since they're going to be looking in Orlando at the same time that they are closing out in Connecticut, are they going to have the money to be able to close out Orlando without Connecticut, or do they need to close out Connecticut in order to purchase in Orlando?
They need to close in Connecticut in order to purchase in Orlando, yes. Because in Orlando, in Connecticut, her house is big and right now it's like 1.6.
So when she moves over to Orlando, if she does find a property that she likes right now, you should put the contingencies of, you know, we'll close that one, we'll buy this one.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that will be accepted. You know what I mean? Just because it's a hot seller's market, it's not a Miami issue, it's an Orlando issue as well. It's a Connecticut issue as well. It's an everywhere issue. People are selling, people are moving. So I don't know if adding those contingencies is going to get accepted, but by all means, you can try and you can move, you know, you can start seeing a movement that way.
Thank you. And I have another guy, she's a VA. It's my first time that I'm going to have a VA loan.
Okay.
He's not going to pay anything. That's good. I say, oh my God, that's amazing. And last week, I was in Orlando, Saturday and Sunday. I was showing some houses over there and the prices is amazing. 5 bedroom, 4 bathroom, yard, huge. I mean, good community for 300.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, amazing.
You will still need to pay closing costs, not down payment, only closing costs.
Correct.
Right. He don't pay. He pay just closing costs, no down payment. Right. But it's good. I never have a VA. I say, oh my God, that's really good.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of transactions lately when it comes to VA in pre-construction, and they do get all the incentives like crazy the minute that they do say that they are VA. So I have been seeing that a lot.
Wow. So they can do the VA. They can get pre-construction houses.
Yeah, I've been seeing them a lot with the DR Horton.
Oh, that's good.
The Lennars.
Good to know. Okay.
Now, I have also seen the Lennar. I have a friend of mine, personal friend of mine, one of my best friends. She's a buyer. She's been dying to buy something in either Parkland or Boca. I mean, anything. There's no inventory. And she walked into a Lennar pre-construction this past weekend and she fell in love with the house, right? And now we're talking like above the $700,000-800,000 mark, like the high-end Lennar, right? They have a waiting list of 150 people for that for that model. It blew my mind.
Wow.
She called me from there and she was like, I found the house. This is like the perfect layout. This is what I want. It's pre-construction. And I'm here like, okay, where's the but? She was like, there's 150 people in front of me in order to be able to buy this product. And I'm like, what is going on? And we're not even talking 300,000. Like we're talking, you know, they're looking 800, 750, 800, you know? And I thought it was madness.
That's also the thing that I want to mention, that I have seen that $1 million listings are moving super fast too. Super uncommon. Yeah.
Hotcakes.
Wow.
It's insane.
Insane. That's the word. Insane. Can't believe it. No, as this weekend I say I came here and say we can sell this house and move to Orlando, and my husband is saying no way, I don't move because the prices, that's really good over there.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much
Does
for
that,
everything,
no,
Andreina.
you're welcome. If anybody else has anything else to share, please do speak up. If not, I think that, I think this concludes our morning.
Thank you so much for everything. I see
You're
you
very
next week.
welcome.
I'm planning to go to the office next week.
Yes, come by. I love having the agents
With my
here.
hair done and everything done.
Karina, I am so thankful. Thank you for, coming on today, speaking, sharing. I do
Thank
believe
you.
that when I first started in the industry, people kept saying like, "Why do you give so much support for free?" What? And I am gonna share, the train of thought with you because I think that what you're doing is beautiful, sharing, your knowledge with us. No one knows you're smart unless you share your knowledge, right? Like,
That's true.
no one knows how intelligent, how much you know unless you share it. So I am very thankful to be surrounded with people that love to share their knowledge, not just with me, but with, everyone else. So I am very thankful for you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope to see you very soon again.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye,
Have a
take
great
care.
one.
You too.
Bye.